Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more Total Extreme Wrestling for our All Elite Wrestling Save, week number 2 of November. The final Dynamite before Full Gear is on tonight's show, and we've already got AEW Dark booked, so we might as well just get straight into the results because we want to get through Dynamite, we want to get to AEW Full Gear, so let's go ahead and get straight into it. So we opened up the pre-show with Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr. working together in this segment. Now we heard that these two would be teaming together in real life, and I actually thought, okay, I like the concept of this team. Now, I believe they're going to be known as the Varsity Blondes. You know, it might be for a small term basis. I'm not sure if this team will stick, but you know, I'm thinking, okay, what are we going to do? What's the plan with Brian Pillman Jr. once this family versus Nightmare Family storyline is done? Where does he go to from here? Because obviously he's not going to team with Dustin and QT, so he's kind of going to be on his own. So I figured, okay, we've got Griff, we've got Brian, let's go with this tag team that they're going to try in real life. I feel like it could really work for us here in TW. So what we're doing here is kind of doing an angle where Griff Garrison tells Brian Pillman Jr. that he respects him. You know, respects the hustle, respects the journey he's been on, and if he ever needs anything, you know, he's got his back. So kind of saying this, you know, planting the seeds here that these two may be aligning with one another in the future. 39 for that segment. Both getting a bit of an advantage there for not being scripted. So we didn't script these two. We figured, all right, let's see how these guys go, and both did pretty well without that. 39 rated segment for these two is actually really, really good. Bad Reputation took on Red Velvet and Big Swole for 33, Priscilla Kelly 39, Bea Priestley 31, Big Swole 30, and Red Velvet 16 was the lowest in the match. We gave Bad Reputation the win. Okay, now we open up the show with Matt Hardy. This is more like it from Matt frickin' Hardy. He talks about his struggles with Team Taz and all the issues he's got with them for 73. Well, hallelujah, Matt Hardy has finally came to AEW and has decided to, you know, no pun intended, play with the big boys, because this is a big boy segment. 73, promo on Team Taz. This is more like it. This is Matt Hardy at his best. And finally, we get a good segment out of it. We've been waiting. You know, Matt Hardy's been really average, to say the least. This is finally something that we can hang our hat on and say, okay, Matt Hardy is the real deal. We can get some value out of Matt. This is great. 73, advancing and improving the storyline heat just before Cage and Hardy battle it out at Full Gear. Perfect timing. SCU defeated the Initiative in a 50 rated match. We gave the SCU another win here just to continue their momentum. And, you know, Peter Avalon and Brandon Cutler, they have great chemistry teaming together. And they, you know, look, they suffered another loss, but it's good that they're kind of working together and they're slowly improving as a team. And, you know, we're seeing some good results. 35 from Peter, 32 from Brandon. Not bad, but the main team, of course, is Daniels, 53, Kazarian, 48, as they are preparing to take on the Inner Circle for the tag team titles at Full Gear. 50 rated for the match is pretty good. Cody Rhodes with another banger of a promo, 84. He's basically addressing his title reign as a whole. He's kind of reflecting as being the TNT champion and also giving us a preview of what his plans are with Miro for their upcoming match at Full Gear. So Cody Rhodes is really starting to hit his straps here. He's really doing well with the mic. He's had a couple of lean promos, but this one much, much stronger. 84. We could have a really good episode of Dark here. It's all coming down now. So Ricky Starks versus Marco Stunt. We gave it 12 minutes, so probably a little bit long. But, you know, Ricky Starks and Marco don't have a lot of popularity, which is why this match kind of went down a little bit. The crowd wasn't really invested in it. Starks 38, Marco 39. Marco Stunt has quite a little bit of popularity that I want to poach from him and put it on someone who actually matters, and that is Ricky Starks. So we gave Ricky the win in the end. Trying to get a little bit more popularity for him before he takes on Will Hobbs. Britt Baker with another successful segment. Okay, so we had another edition of the waiting room. This time, Sheeta and Statlander interrupted it, and you know, Evilise was the special guest on the show. Statlander and Sheeta, you know, they weren't really thrilled with what they were kind of saying on there. Interrupted, got in the face of Baker, and of course, Evilise. So Evilise and Britt Baker, they backed away, they got out of there, but 49 rated segments, so this is much better. We're really starting to see some improvement from Britt Baker. Her segments are getting pretty good, which is great to see. She's had a bit of a rough start as champ, and I was very close to taking the belt off of her, but she's turning it around. She definitely is, and I'm just hoping that can translate into her gaining some popularity. That's the most important thing. Lance Archer and Joey Janela in our main event for 55. Lance Archer 52, Joey 45. 10-minute match. Lance Archer picking up a win in another solid match, advancing the Cassidy and Archer storyline with Lance beating down Joey Janela. Post-match, great promo here from Jake and Lance. This is good. These two are starting to really get things together as well. Lance and Jake promise to destroy all of the best friends at Full Gear. So 63 in the end, and that gives us a 53 rated edition of AEW Dark, probably one of our best episodes I think we've been able to do of Dark. Okay, the go-home show for our Full Gear pay-per-view. Dynamite is booked. Let's take a look at the results. Opening up the show, we had Will Hobbs and Preston. Both guys had great chemistry. Will Hobbs 44, Preston 30, 36 rated match. Will Hobbs with a quick win here. Hey, it's pretty good. I mean, Will Hobbs is definitely showing some potential. You know, look, at the moment, with the name change, I'm kind of leaning towards maybe just calling him Powerhouse Will Hobbs rather than just Powerhouse Hobbs. I'm not fully sold on the name change. It's growing on me, but I think maybe need a few more weeks before I'm really warming up to it. But we probably will adapt the name change to keep things the same in real life. Thunder Rosa and Red Velvet took each other on. Thunder Rosa picking up the easy win. 49 from Thunder Rosa for a 39 rated match. These two have great chemistry as well. There's no doubt about it. Thunder Rosa is one of the best women we have. Kind of just been waiting until after Full Gear before we really insert her into a major storyline and get her going. But there's no doubt about it. Once Full Gear is done, we're going to really start pushing Thunder Rosa as one of our top women in the division. She's definitely got the performances to back it up. MJF was with Tony Schiavone earlier on to kick off the main show, as Tony Schiavone was telling MJF that his retrial will take place tonight, 77 for this one. So, well, the last few weeks MJF has been trying to appeal the decision that's been made that MJF and Jon Moxley, their rematch, will take place inside a steel cage. MJF has had his legal team trying to overturn the decision. He's even had AEW officials. They had to make a decision whether or not that they were going to allow that match to take place. Their verdict was yes, it should be able to take place. And MJF has demanded that somebody above those officials make a proper decision. He's not happy with the outcome. He's demanded a retrial. He's appealed the decision, and he wants someone of higher management to get themselves involved and make a verdict on this. And Tony Schiavone has informed him tonight that that will take place tonight. 77 rated match between Colt Cabana and Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega 83, Colt Cabana 46, 77 overall. These two have pretty good chemistry as well. Well, there you go. Probably, maybe I wouldn't say a feud between these two, but you know, if we wanted to do a few one-off matches to get a really strong match rating, maybe this is a good idea. This combination. We did have this as a steal of the show, which was a bit of a risk. I didn't think Colt Cabana would be up to scratch. I thought his performances would be okay, but I thought maybe the length would be a problem. Turns out it was. It's a little bit too long, but I figured Kenny Omega would be able to carry Colt Cabana through it, and he certainly did. 83 from Omega is fantastic. 77 match rating. Very good start to the show. Post-match, Adam Page and Kenny Omega fight it out. Adam Page stormed the ring, and a huge brawl broke out between Page and Omega. So Adam Page has been out injured ever since the heel turn. He came to the ring, kind of hobbling to the ring, clearly not 100%, but he got the upper hand until the other wrestlers from the back broke it up. So we had various guys come out to break this up. 81 rated segment, gaining storyline heat, so really good stuff. We've been waiting and waiting to get Adam Page back out there, and we're pretty happy with the way this turned out. Next up, Best Friends, cutting a promo from the hospital. So, as you know, the last few weeks, Lance Archer has, brutalized Trent, Chuck Taylor, hospitalized both of them. Orange Cassidy's been able to escape and hasn't been harmed just yet, but Lance Archer has promised that his time will come. Well, from the hospital, these guys are cutting a promo, basically saying, look, we're going to bring the fight to Lance Archer. He's beat us up, he's kicked our ass so far, but we're not going to give up. We're going to get out there at Full Gear, and we're going to give everything we've got. So it will be Cassidy and Archer one-on-one, but of course, he will have his best friends in his corner for that match. 53 rated, pretty good promo actually from the best friends. Jurassic Express took on the Butcher and the Blade for 51. We had the Jurassic Express pick up the win because Mark Wen from Private Party got himself involved. So advancing the Butcher and Blade Private Party storyline, probably the last little interaction these guys will have until, if we can, we'll try and squeeze a match on Full Gear between Private Party and the Butcher and the Blade. We've been building it for a while now, trying to get two undercard tag teams elevated a little bit. It hasn't quite worked out as much as I would have liked. We have, seen some positive things, but to be honest, it hasn't really delivered any real major improvement in either team's popularity, which was our goal. So, sometimes not everything works, but you got to give it a shot. Jungle Boy 55, Luchasaurus 50, so no doubt about it, Jurassic Express are probably our next go-to team to really elevate. If we looked at SCU and we gave them the big spot against the Inner Circle, well, definitely Jurassic Express probably deserve to have that opportunity as well. Butcher and Blade 33 and 32 respectively, not too bad. We had a hype video for Cody versus Miro for a 50 rated segment, bringing the storyline heat down. Yeah, well, we had a hype video just kind of promoting what's been happening between these two, and a lack of anything interesting in this segment was a problem. Well, there you go, not enough. Probably too long, maybe. We had it around, I think, 5 minutes, probably too long. Maybe should have kept it around 2 to 3 minutes. But yeah, we actually are losing a bit of heat between Cody and Miro, and honestly, I believe that we've just had a little bit too much time with it. I'm kind of running out of ideas on what to really do before we get to this match. Yeah, Cody and Miro one-on-one for the championship. Look, I'm still going to go with Miro, I think, as the champion, but I tell you what, it's very tempting to keep the belt on Cody because Miro hasn't been amazing so far, but we'll see. We'll get there. We'll make a decision. Chris Statlander was with Britt Baker, Tony Schiavone, and Rebel, of course, backstage, as both women were putting pen to paper on their contract for their match coming up at Full Gear. No contact was allowed. Tony Schiavone making sure things went smoothly there. So that one gained heat for this storyline, 54, and one last segment to really get to Full Gear. So honestly, the storyline heat between Baker and Statlander has been really promising. It's actually turned out to be a pretty decent little feud in the end. And as I said on the early edition of Dark, I really believe Britt Baker is starting to get things happening. She had a rough start, but she's really starting to turn things around and having some strong segments. So I've been very impressed with what she's been able to do. Ivelisse took on Serena Deeb for a 30 rated. Ivelisse 40, Serena Deeb 33. Wanted to give Ivelisse a win on TV just to get her ready for her match with Hikaru Shida. Didn't quite hit the mark this one. Post-match, we have Ivelisse taunting and talking a bit of trash to Hikaru Shida. Dasha was the interviewer there, but again, not quite doing enough there, taking down the storyline heat a little bit for 37. We had a video just to hype up the Young Bucks. We didn't have anything between Young Bucks and FTR on this episode, just because the storyline heat is at 75. I don't want to touch that. I don't want to try anything because that is as good as it's going to get. There's no way that I could elevate that storyline heat anymore. So I'm just keeping it as is, keeping the two teams apart, and just going to do it at Full Gear. So yeah, 54 for that one. Miro quickly defeated Sunny Kiss for 49. Miro 68, Sunny Kiss 33. Not much to really say about that one, but a quick win for Miro. Adam Page cut a promo. So obviously we had the big pull apart earlier on, and he said in this one, look, I'm not 100% coming into my match with Kenny Omega. There's no doubt about that. He hurt me pretty badly recently. I'm not 100%, but nothing is going to stop him from getting in the ring at Full Gear and getting his hands on Kenny Omega. So 73 for that one. So really happy with that. And Adam Page is really starting to become a legit main event guy alongside Kenny. Kenny was already there, but Kenny's really starting to break out as a singles now that he's a heel. And we're really starting to see some success from Kenny and Adam Page as well. Okay, main event was the Inner Circle versus the Natural Nightmares. Yeah, we didn't quite get the result here I thought we might. 68, not bad, obviously, but yeah, you think, obviously Inner Circle, such a strong tag team, we thought maybe could get low 70s. Not quite. Sammy Guevara 70, Chris Jericho 85, QT Marshall 36, Dustin Rhodes 50. I guess QT really bringing the match down with his efforts. And QT has not gained any popularity despite being in all these strong positions. And, you know, I don't know what to do with that guy. He's just really not improving. I think he's really holding Dustin Rhodes back, to be honest with you, but that's for another day. The Natural Nightmares picked up the win. We had Eddie Kingston get himself involved and screw over the Natural Nightmares. So what we really found in this matchup is we were kind of using it as a way to elevate the the Nightmare family versus the family storyline, more so than helping the Inner Circle and SCU storyline, which actually lost heat from a 68 rated match. So, and final segment, we're hoping that this one goes down well. 89, fantastic. All right, so MJF's retrial. MJF's out in the ring with John Moxley, Tony Schiavone there, and the other AEW officials who made the call last week about the match. Wardlow's there as well. And MJF, he's talking trash of Moxley. He's still saying this is unbelievable, that he has to, be in this match. He can't believe it. He's demanding that it gets overturned. Lights go out. Sting comes out. He is now known as the Chief Operations Manager. I guess the COM. Sting makes his debut. He's now the man in charge, and he makes the cage match official. That's the final word. He's now, I suppose, as you could say, the general manager or the main authority figure. He makes the final word, final call. He's the guy. So, where I see this, I know in real life, Sting looks like he might be having a match. It looks like he might be wrestling of some sort, maybe doing some sort of cinematic match. I'm not opposed to using him in that way. I think, I'm thinking long term, maybe you could do Sting and MJF in some sort of cinematic thing. But in reality, the way I see it, he's 61, beaten up badly. I can't see him wrestling, at least not wrestling in a decent capacity. In TW, he's not going to do well in a wrestling capacity, I feel. And I know him as authority figure, that might divide a few opinions. Is that a good idea? So far, we got an adequate rating for his new gimmick, so we took a bit of a risk there. It's okay. But I feel like we need someone who's got the respect of the fans, who is popular, people want to see, people want to hear from. And I think that's Sting. It's a role that you wouldn't really expect him to be in, but I can't see him being a manager. Can't see him really doing anything else other than being the authority figure. So, and I also at the same time, I don't see myself putting Sting on every segment. Tony Schiavone was all over the show tonight, in contract signings, interviews, things like that. Sting's not going to be used that way. I feel like him being out there for big, important things. For example, this is the word from the man in charge. This moment, or contract signing for the World Championship. You get Sting out there for the big, important moments to make his appearances feel more special. I feel like that's the way to use him. When Sting's there, okay, this is important. This means this is a big deal to AEW. That type of thing is where I see, going with Sting. But we'll talk more of that in a moment. We got an 89 rated segment. Very happy with that. Obviously going to improve the MJF and Moxley storyline big time. And it's official. We're going to do Moxley and MJF inside a cage at Full Gear. And we only had a 64 rated show. That is unbelievable. That is very weird. We had a 77 between Omega and Cabana. We had a 77 promo, a 73 rated promo, 89 rated angle at the end, a 68 main event. It still only landed a 64 rated show. I guess the middle of the show was a little bit weaker because we didn't want to upset any of our storyline heat, and I guess that cost us. Alright, let's take a look at the ratings after our episode. NXT, 70 rated show, 2.07 TV rating, 1.557 million viewers. Pretty strong. We had 0.94 TV rating, 712,000 viewers. Definitely a drop in TV ratings for us. A big drop, to be honest with you. Compare it to last week, where we had 752,000 viewers. So we've dropped to 40,000 viewers. Not good. And if you go 2 weeks before that, we had 786,000. So we've dropped over 70,000 viewers over the last few weeks. So we had a lot of momentum going. We kind of squandered it with that episode there. Any other things to take a look at? Not really. Very disappointing. Chris Statler apparently owes money. Kenny Omega rates her pretty highly. Let's take a look to see. First, before we get to that, we'll go take a look at our storylines before we take a look at the popularity changes. So the Baker and Statlander storylines, 48 heat, which is good. 54 between Butcher and Blade and Private Party. That's actually a lot higher than I expected. Cody and Miro, it's dropped down to 64. I'm worried about that. I'm worried this match may bomb, and I'm gonna blame Miro if it does. Yeah, FTR Young Bucks 75. No way would we want to touch that this week. Sheeta and Evilise has dropped down to 40, which is probably a fair representation of where this is at. 40 is still okay. SCU and Inner Circle down to 68 after that main event match. Maybe we try and squeeze an Inner Circle promo on the pay-per-view to try and boost it up just before that match. Miro and Page is at 76, which is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. It could have been a little bit better. You know, we had an 81 rated segment there, but look, in the 70s, you're going to be fine with that. Hardy and Brian Cage at 64 now. I felt as though that was probably the best this was going to get, so we didn't want to touch that. MJF and Moxley is doing really well at 82. I feel like their Cage rematch is going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to that. Now that Sting's involved as well in this storyline, which I think, you know, to be fair, may honestly put him in there. That could change things. That could really elevate this long term. Nightmare Family and the family itself, after having the Inner Circle involved, the tag titles were on the line that match, by the way. Inner Circle retaining them. 66 now for that storyline. That is huge. That match could really be great. It's going to be a 6-man tag match. Orange Cassidy and Lance Archer at 57. That's really strong. I'm happy with that. And Hobbs and Starks at 59, which is very, 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 very high. Like, I'll emphasize the very. This should be around 35, 40, but we've really strapped it on with the Brian Cage and Matt Hardy storyline to kind of elevate this, and it's worked out pretty well. So the storyline heats are all pretty strong heading into the pay-per-view. Alright, in terms of popularity changes, not a lot to really talk about. We didn't make a lot of progression, but a couple of little things. Miro, he's moved up now to 61 popularity, which is pretty promising. When we got him, he started at 59, so now 61 is great. Cody, he's still where he was, but you can see 67 now in the Southeast. There's some progression there. Other guys, Sammy Guevara, 56 now. You know, he's just continuing to gain more and more popularity. And Wardlow's pretty similar. He's at 46. He's just gaining more and more after being alongside MJF as well. And, you know, even other little things. Brian Pillman Jr., he gained a point in the Southeast, which is great. So there's some small little progression happening, but for the most part, we're still kind of staying where we're at. Alright, we are now all ready for Full Gear, and next episode we will have that big pay-per-view for you. Things looking good. The other big piece of news as well is Pac is now officially able to come back for us as well, and I tell you what, when we get him, things are going to change because he is a hugely good worker. He is going to be amazing. You know, we've been using Kenny Omega as kind of like the guy to really have that great match every show. Well, now we've got Pac. Cody Rhodes has been the other one. Pac's going to be able to deliver, and that 57 pop he's got is going to, I can tell you what, is going to really increase. What we're going to do with him, I'm not 100% sure. I feel like my original idea was to have him and Miro straight up. But the other obviously thing as well, you could have him be inserted with the family situation, and I don't mind that, but I feel like maybe we could do something else there as well. The other thing as well, of course, you know, you could go Moxley and Pac straight off the bat as well if we want to get Pac involved, but I guess you probably don't want to have him lose, or maybe you can have Pac try and elevate the TNT title alongside Miro if we're going to put the belt on Miro. Few decisions to be made about Pac, but when he comes back, I can tell you what, it's going to be pretty exciting because another big name. You know, we've been lacking, but we've got another big name to join our ranks, and I'm very excited for that. Alright, I'm also very excited for Full Gear, as I said, coming up next episode. Thank you for watching this edition of Dynamite here on AEW. We've had some good shows. You know, we didn't have the best show recently, but I'm feeling pretty confident about Full Gear, and I'm looking to try and get a 75 rated show for Full Gear. It's going to be big. Can't wait for it. Hope you join us for it. Thanks for watching, guys. See you at Full Gear.